So, hi everyone. This is Heart to Heart with Eva, and my very, very special guest today is Frida from Esoteric Adventures. Welcome, Frida.
Thank you so much.
And it's a blessing to have you here again because you have been on here before, and you have had such a marvelous path that you have traveled through in your own esoteric adventures, and time has speeded up for you lately. And
Yes.
I am so curious to find out exactly what has been going on with you because I know that you are on a rocket path right now. So, but before we start with that, you are going to do a astrology. What do you say? Astrology.
A reading,
Reading.
basically. Yes.
Yeah.
And what I will do, it will just illustrate a little bit how I read a birth chart and how I work also with my intuition in my work as an astrologer. Because there are some astrologers who are quite logical and they read charts in a very logical sense. And I have come to realize that I am much about integrating the logic with my intuition. So I strive to read the charts in a more intuitive way. And I have gotten your birth details. I just want to confirm. So it's the 4th of October, 1966, 1410 in Borås, Sweden.
Oh yes, that's me.
Yeah, and I will. I always do this very intuitively, so I will see what comes up. And of course, in this setting now with you, I will not. I will go a little bit more on the surface because in a horoscope you can see very deep things about people, and I'm always working very ethically in my work. So that means that, for example, now when we're in this setting, I will not reveal anything that is too personal about your horoscope, just so you know. Um, but the first thing that comes to mind when I see your horoscope is, I mean, you are born with the sun in Libra, so technically you are a Libra. But it's very important here to mention that in your horoscope, I see a lot of scorpionic influences, you can say, which means that there's a huge depth to your personality. And I also see these sort of placements a lot when I meet people who are mediums, who are interested in witchcraft, who are very much into probing down to the very cause, like um, unveiling more of the real truth. What is the real truth? So that depth I definitely see in you, Eva. And I also see connection with the world beyond this material world. That's why I say that channeling, mediumship, witchcraft, everything that is beyond this world comes very natural to you. And and that is a huge strength. But I want you also to know that what I see is also that it can be for you that it has felt like you have almost lived 100 lives in one, if you know what I mean, because this placement that you have, the sun in the eighth house, comes with huge transformations, like constant transformation of your identity, who you are, and you follow a lot of the cycles of life. Like it's a lot of death and rebirth when it comes to your personality and who you are. And
Yeah.
that is so important because when I also read a chart, I want to empower people, and I want to say to you that that's the way it's supposed to be. You are very transformational in your identity. So if you have ever thought about, oh, but why is it like this, that it's constantly changing, I feel like I'm constantly evolving, that's the natural rhythm of your identity. um, Very, very important. What I also see here is that being in relationship with another person, not just romantically, but connecting with people, mainly like one to one, like we are doing now, for example, that is something that develops you a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Because when you mirror yourselves to others, that process is also very, very important for your sense of self somehow. Because what I see a little bit that can have been something from your past is that there could have been something in you that have I don't want to use the word struggle, but it's somewhere towards struggle when I talk about self-worth, you know. And I see this in a lot of charts for people who work as healers, because thanks to that process, if you have felt that you have struggled with self-worth or your sense of stability and comfort in yourself, that is something that has ultimately given you a lot of power, you know, because you have such great healing abilities. And that is thanks to that also, because you can look into another person and you see, first of all, you see right through them. And secondly, you can see in others the things that you have gone through also yourself, maybe in terms of self-worth, feeling safe in yourself and those things. And that is an like there's a tremendous healing power in that journey that you have taken. Is that something that you can relate to?
Oh, absolutely. I do love the encounters with other people, and I think it is important to reflect and mirror, as you say, mirror upon another person, and you are getting so much energetically, and you are growing as a person when you get into those encounters, and yeah, absolutely. I have been working very actively as a healer before, especially before, and you can't go through those processes if you are not in a process yourself. Maybe you shouldn't be in the process of healing when you are healing others. That is not what I'm saying, but you have to go through whatever is lying underneath your own thinking and mind and perspective, and reflect upon what you are crossing within these encounters with other people. Because if you don't reflect upon it and can, reflect and mirror it back to yourself, then you are not going with the process of healing, because it is a meeting between two people. So even though I'm technically not healing anyone, I'm preventing or holding a tool, giving you a tool to work with self. It's still a exchange of energies, and we are still growing both. So yes, definitely you have to work with yourself in order to work with other people.
Yeah,
So spot on, yeah.
because your the lack of stability that you might have felt in yourself, or in terms of your, it can even be materialistically, you know, income and those things. Like if you when you have integrated those parts of yourself, there's so much potential to heal others. And I know that you, on your journey, you have come so far, you know. Usually I say to people that are like in their 30s, or yeah, below their 30s, that I try to encourage them to work on their self-value when they have this kind of position in their chart. But you have come so far on your journey, so yeah, I see great healing potential. That's something that stands out. And I would even like to say, you know, in terms of your work, because there's a certain part of the horoscope, I can look in certain parts of the horoscope to talk to get information also about your vocation, your work, and those things. And for you, I see also that, first of all, in your work setting, I think that this depth that you have, you know, um, that you want to go deeper, you want to dig deeper, psychology, go into the psyche and those things. That is very strong, the way I see it in your work. And it can be that you have sometimes felt also a little bit of confusion around what are you going to do in terms of work. But the way that I see this unveil is that definitely something spiritual, definitely something related to psychology, and definitely something transformative. So I would like to see you do even more of your healing work and do even more of your spiritual work, because it's so natural for you. What do you think about that?
Oh, for me, life is spiritual. So whatever you are doing in this moment, even though if it's the spiritual work, quote spiritual work with guidings and channeling, etc., or if you are at work working with elder, for example, which I also do, for me it's still a spiritual journey because there's an encounter there. You know, you meet people, you are reflecting upon what's going on, and you definitely need to be present with all of your being in every of these meetings. So yeah, I'm still searching for my, you know, special place and lineup, and I probably never will find it because I can see the spirituality in every path that I am walking on. So yeah.
I think what comes to me now is that what you are doing in terms of the quantum healing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the when you sort of do the like hypnosis and those journeys, what we have done also before, and like that is very powerful and very transformative, and that is something that I see you, according to your chart, do more of. Because you are so deep, you know, there's a huge depth here, and also a huge connection to yeah, to the information beyond this physical world. So to see more maybe of your own value in that, because definitely you're supposed to be doing something, according to me and astrology, with healing and going to the depths and the transformative work, you know, psychology, spirituality, something like that. Definitely. um, and what I also wanted to say is that one way that you can also integrate more of your how can I say, how you can go even deeper into this mission is by balancing that with grounding yourself a lot with nature. You know, because you carry a lot of transformative energy with you. You know, you have been through a lot of transformation. I see that in you. I don't know how I can explain it further, but with that comes, you know, according to me, the need to balance with putting the fingers into the soil, you know, making the plants grow, go into nature, connect with nature, because that's a place where you can find your sense of stability that maybe you have sometimes struggled to feel, you know. It's a way to balance that, because with nature, you know, we are, yeah, it's so, I see it so clearly in your chart. Like if you allow more nature to come in, like the physical, then the intangible and the non-physical that you carry so strongly will get even more powerful. You know what I mean by that?
Oh, definitely. I'm still working on some projects that involves the gardening and the environment of the trees and plants, and that is also connected to uh, almost a bit like tree hugging, but with plants. And it's still a project, but I'm working on it, so I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah, because that would suit you so well, you know, for your own journey. Because, um, as I say, spiritual transformation and all those things, they're so strong in you. So balance it, and there will be like integration for even more power to flow, the way I see it. And yeah, lastly, you know, you are always going to have that childlike nature, you know, also within you. I see that strongly. So I really like to see that the childlike nature, you carry that also in you. I don't know if you relate to that, but I see it because you have your moon in the fifth house, and that is like a lot of creativeness, but also like connect, you can connect with also children, or connect with the inner childs of others, because you yourself have, like you have that side of you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I really see. And think about also that, since, yeah, there's something that I get also when it comes to your emotional processes, according to your chart, that maybe sometimes it can be beneficial for you to maybe not try to understand your emotions in a logical sense. I don't know if you relate to this, but that is something that comes to me, you know, that sometimes when I see moon in Gemini, you are so curious and it's childlike and it's playful, but sometimes it can also go a little bit to the end of trying to understand the emotional processes from a logical point of view. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, I do, Frida.
Yeah. And so in order for yourself to get more rest and maybe not, struggle with that, it's a really good idea to just come to the acceptance sometimes of certain emotional processes. I will not understand them logically. They just have to be there, play out in the background.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's in short, what I see just when I look like this quickly. And yeah, a really great chart. And like I say, such a such a chart for somebody who is a medium, a healer, a spiritual teacher, even. So I wish you so much luck on your journey, and I'm so thankful for our encounters also.
Mm. Thank you. That was very interesting. Um, there were some few new things in there that I haven't actually given so much thought about, but when you brought them up, I felt like, yeah, and I definitely need to go deeper within that reflection of myself. And yeah, definitely. I do want a copy of this so I can read it in
Yeah.
my own privacy and reflect upon it. So, but thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And
And
yeah, I can only just say quickly, because it came also now that just for you to know that it is a very transformative time also for you, the way I see it. And it's something related to both, it's something related to your public role, what you do as a vocation, and your inner sense of security and your base. It's going to be a lot of transformation there the upcoming time, because yeah, it's almost as if you are going to maybe be a little bit tweaked or pushed into your vocation. That's what I sense
hmm,
even
interesting.
more. Mm.
Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to that. And I do also think that it is applying to a lot of what is going on in 2022 for the whole collective humanity as a collective. We are being pushed into and new ways of thinking, and whatever you thought you knew is somehow thrown back at you for another depth and reflection. So there is a lot of what you have been saying here that my chart have shown when you did this reading about born, rebirth, and death, and that is a lot. It sums up what we are all going through right now. We are getting rid of, it's a slowly death of what you have learned, and you review it and rebirthing a new concept. So it is a tough period for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, and what comes to me when you say this is that that is why you, in terms of your self-worth, because maybe people that have gone through so much transformation with themselves, maybe sometimes they feel like, oh, what's wrong with me.
Mm,
But people, especially like you and that are used to these processes, they are needed in this time. Because for you it's something more natural, and you have experience from that,
mm,
so you can step out in this time now that we're headed towards, and also guide a lot of people that need that kind of guidance.
mm. Yeah, that's interesting, Frida.
Yeah,
I was just.
that's really important to say to you.
Mm,
So yeah, we have really interesting times coming ahead. I mean, I look at astrology also because I do mainly like birth chart astrology, and I have also lately developed my own astrological method, actually. But when I look at mundane astrology, when we talk about mundane astrology, we interpret like global events. And what I saw there was that in January this year, I mean, we have had this process for years now. I mean, 2020, 2021, 2022.
Oh.
It's a lot of transformation and breaking down of old structures. But I saw there a full moon that we had, which I say, okay, this is going to even spark more of the purging in society. Maybe a lot of truths are going to come up to the surface in terms of how we have related to power and power structures in society. And maybe we will get a new light on that so
Mm.
that we can understand also our own authority in this process. Because we are the people, it's not only a structure there that is, holding us down. We can also actually interact with the structure, and it is changing a lot.
It is. It is constantly, and as you said, it's been a process that has been going on for a couple of years right now, and we are still in the midst of it, or in the games of it, and this awareness that we are talking about in a lot of the spiritual communities is the possibility to review what you have learned, to question the structures, the hierarchy, and just growing and purging out. And that is such a boring word, purging. Yeah, it's been hunting us for years now.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it is important to release that energy, because right now, as you said, we are being pushed forward, and we are being pushed to acknowledge everything that we have pressed down, and it's rising up to the surface, and you need to deal with it when it comes up. No judgment, just deal with it. Go through it. So yeah, I think that is going to be a process for a lot of people. And I know that we just dived into this, and as I've been saying in the banners that we have done for this video, that this is a recap. So people who are curious about who you are and how you started, they can go and find that out in our first interview that we did. So this is a recap, because we have a time loop to follow too. So I want to know, Frida, what did happen to you? Because I'm going to say what happened to you, because you have dived right into your deepest abyss, and you have grown so much spiritual within your own spirituality. Do you want to share it with us? Can
Yes,
you
I
share
can
your
share
journey?
it. And yeah, basically, I can say that last year was very transformative for me because I was struggling a lot with my physical health to begin with. I had a lot of physical health problems coming up to the surface. And I managed actually to look at them myself. And of course, I believe in science, and I believe in yeah, doctors and everything, and we need emergency care and all. But I have explored a lot of my own healing abilities when it comes to myself. So I have gotten a lot of insight in my own power as a human being. And so last year was very tough for me many times. I thought like, okay, I'm done with this now. But then it came again and again and again. I had to look at myself from so many angles. And I got to a point where I very recently just went into a really deep healing with a friend of mine, actually. And yeah, it sounds maybe strange to some people who are not in this world, but I felt the energy of my soul. And when I felt the energy of my soul, I became aware of everything that I thought I was, which I am not. And that was a super powerful process for me, because that made me realize that there have been a lot of things that I have just put on myself that actually aren't me. So that was the process that sparked me to dare to live more from my heart. Because
Can I ask you
from
a question? Was that the things that you have put on yourself? Was that other people expectations of you, who you're supposed to be, or the society's expectations, or was it your own expectations of who you were?
It was actually both, I think. And I have taken off a lot of social expectations over the past years, but
Mm.
there was a lot of things that were really deep in me, and I actually saw. Um, I'm not a medium, so I don't work with these things regularly, but I also saw my how I had tied myself to different like contracts, or you can say, in terms of what I had in situations where I was not strong enough, or I did not believe in myself, or I was lacking something, which is totally natural, a natural process. But I saw how I had bought into certain things and like tied myself to
Mm.
different contracts, and I managed to rip them off, like take them away, to actually liberate myself and understanding that I'm a very natural soul, if you can say it like that.
Mm.
And I just got a sense of my abilities, and that what I always felt in my heart, that I am super creative. I love astrology from the core of my heart, but I want to make it my own. I
Mm.
dared to see that then, and from there I'm just, yeah, that's the journey I'm on, making it my own thing.
Yeah. And you have grown intuitive. You said you are not a medium or a healer, but that is a part of you anyway. So your intuition has grown stronger, and mediumship or channeling, that is just a label that helps people to understand what you are doing. So in a sense, yeah, of course you are a medium. Yeah, you do have a clear channel, and today the channeling that is coming through very strong in most of people around the world is from your own source,
Yes.
your own I am presence, if you want to call it that. So, and that is the one that we should listen to.
Yeah.
And that is also the beauty where you say, like, people in these communities, we should hold the light and be the beacon of lights to people, of course. Uh, but we need to allow other people to stand in their own lights, because we
Yeah.
are a reflection from, and we are small fractions from the same source, so everyone is entitled to express themselves. But I think it's so beautiful to watch people, shine their lights and move forward, and it's so interesting to hear how it's impact your way of living. So, when you are on this journey, where do you see yourself going with this?
Yeah, I actually see myself, yeah, I see myself living more from my heart space,
Mm-hmm.
and developing my astrology business, if you can call it like that, my astrological side a lot, because I have understood that like astrology has many times, as I mentioned, been seen as a very logical practice, and I've also, that's how I started, that was my way in. But I am now at the point where I say you need the logical understanding as a springboard to integrate more of your intuition. So that's why I don't call myself like a regular astrologer. I say that I'm intuitive therapeutic astrologer, and that is my concept. My concept is basically intuitive therapeutic astrology, because of my background also as a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
Because I combine my intuition with astrology, and I want to deliver messages that don't scare people. I don't want to do that, because that's also not ethically okay. But I want to just act as, as a mirror, and hold a mirror, so that the things I say can land in you, and it can spark something, so that you can also make new choices.
Mm.
I'm very much about that, and just empowering people. So I'm writing a book. I am working on my method, developing my method, and I'm also, yeah, doing a little bit of readings here and there. That's what I'm doing now, and I let everything come from my heart. I don't think about, oh, how much money am I going to make? How is this going to go? No, this is a creative process for me, very creative. Because that's also what I see on a collective level, us living more from the heart space and daring to go more into creation.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
And
so
that's the
that's
new way of living. It's the access of the awareness and actually taking a actively or active step into the 5D realities. And we are expressing a lot about 5D and moving up in consciousness and awareness. And that that awareness is actually me, you, or anybody else embody the how should I say, the responsibility of stepping into your role, into your light, into your heart space, and whatever you do, move from there, and without, staring and try to stare the outcome, and search for the you said, as you said, everybody needs to do a living, of course. So money in this transformation is still important. But if you are not doing what you want to do with your heart to follow your dreams, you won't be able to reach further into this new concept of way of living. So
yeah.
yeah.
And it's so important because my exactly what you're saying also aligns with what I want to, like, basically what is my goal with my astrological services is to empower people and also to inspire people to become more of their own authentic expression, the way I call it, because I don't want everybody to be the same way. No way. I want everybody to find their own authentic truth and their own authentic expression. And that's why I say also that I've been stuck in looking at other astrologers thinking, oh, how should I do this, or I should read a chart like that. But I have come to peace with the fact that I am me, I'm doing it my way, and the people that align with my way are meant to have an interaction with me. And I give all my energy to those people, but I have also had to go through the process. And I think you can relate to this, that in order to gain access to that strength, we have to also have boundaries, right? I have had to work a lot with that, because I am very much a healer at heart.
Mm.
So one way of running away from myself sometimes has been to, oh, I can help others, I go to volunteer to help homeless people, or I just help people, because then I don't have to think about myself. And I feel like I get a sense of understanding for who I am. But that has been like, yeah, it has been not so good for me because I have had to say to myself, no, I have boundaries, I know my worth, I will help the people that come to me, but only when they ask, also from an ethical point of view.
Oh yeah, that is so important. That is so important. And oh, I love this topic. I love this topic. We are going back to your book in a second
Yeah,
because I want to know more about that. But I need to follow this topic
yeah,
because throughout the years it has been a path that a lot of spiritual people have followed. Working for your heart from your heart and go out there and most of the time be it service at that point that you are not reflecting upon your own journey or what you are here to do, you know diminishing yourself. And for the past few years we have been asked to step into our own light, set boundaries, and try to explore yourself, express yourself, and trust more in your own light, intuition, and guidings, etc. And I can see sometimes when I'm checking out posts or see things that are popping up in the Facebook stream that there is a boundary that has been set in the way that I am not letting other people in, and for me it is that we need to find a balance, because we are not going back to the way it were before when we are shutting our self and our own journey to close it down just to lift up other people, that we are not going back to there, but we are not going to shut other people out. So that is so important to know that when people, like you're now saying, you are setting boundaries, that has nothing to do of being in service to other, because we can still help each other and we should help each other. We are just reflecting upon how much of the energetic work that you are releasing, and protecting your own presence.
Exactly. And exactly. And I think also if you are like us, healers, mediums, astrologers, sometimes we see things outside of us, like we see people's journeys maybe from a distance, and I have been stuck in that, like, oh no, no, this is not good for this person, and I want to go in there and I want to help,
Oh
I
yeah.
want to do something to help people because I love people so much. Really, I do. But I really come to terms with also that, the free will here. That I discovered my power recently because I was at a breaking point, with my physical health, with things that I've gone through over the years. I was at a breaking point where I was literally screaming up to the sky, help me! Like I was really, really desperate. And that's when I got a breakthrough. So for me, having had that experience, I have more compassion also now to everybody's journey,
Mm,
that I'm not here to save anybody from themselves. No, they are sovereign beings. Everybody has their responsibility for themselves, their free will. And that's why I say, like, that also mirrors to what I said about empowerment. Because if I start putting my fingers into everybody's life, or trying to say, oh, be careful here or be careful there, then I'm also in some sense weakening their own authority. You know what I mean? I want
absolutely.
to do the opposite. I want to be a leading example and say, you got this. I'm here. Let me know when you need my guidance. I will step in, but you tell me when. That is also respecting my power, the power I hold for myself.
Mm. I can see a totally new role for you.
Okay, yeah,
Ho-
tell me.
ho- Hosting like these empowerment speeches, go live and talk, because you have a way with words that really resonates with the way that I think, and but you are expressing it in a so much better way than I can ever do. So that is your new role. You can take over this if you want to. So no, but I can definitely see you as the in the role as an empowerment human being, helping and guiding, and make this mirroring and reflection to with the other people live, and I will definitely follow you when you do that. I
Yeah,
can see that.
because again, not that I want to look down upon other astrologers or anything, but I say that, speaking of ethics also, I have met many clients that have come to me after they have had quite bad experiences with very knowledgeable astrologers. And that is because sometimes I see that some astrologers and astrology, like traditional astrology, how it has been very deterministic, oh, you have this placement, that means this, or oh, this is a difficult aspect, oh, then it's going to be hard. I am more about saying, like I said to you, maybe there was something there with self-value or your material sense of security
Yeah.
earlier in life, but that is what makes you powerful. I want to mirror that to people so they understand and integrate their own history and story so
Yeah.
that they can take the next step.
And that is a blessing
Yeah,
and gift, and
yeah,
you are so well equipped for that role. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how you are actually putting this to work, and wow, that is a new phase in your life that you are moving towards. I want to go back to the book. I consider myself as a creative person. I
yeah, you are.
enjoy doing a lot of creative work with my hands, paint, create things either with my mind or in the physical world. And sometimes when I'm in the midst of create something, I have some real difficulty to talk about things because the energy is so vivid, and to try to bring it down sort of implodes the concept of the creative idea. But knowing that that is my process, so I still need to ask you, can you talk about the book?
Yes, definitely. The book that I'm writing is actually called What's Your Nature? Your Guide to Intuitive Therapeutic Astrology. And What's Your Nature? That's part of me, my experiences with, like, I'm a Taurus, I'm much about the earth, I'm much about the earth spirit and those things. And it's also about, what I do in astrology. What's your nature? What comes more natural to you? Your authentic expression. What is that? So that is the title of my book. And it's actually going to be a book where I partly guide the reader through what is astrology, how can you use astrology, and give examples of how I have used astrology for myself. But it also adds, I will also add, like, my background as a psychologist, and mainly because there are some astrologers who are also psychologists out there, because astrology and psychology is quite close.
Mm,
But most of them are into, like, Jungian psychology, which is Carl Jung and a little bit more Freudian,
mm,
deep down. I am going to integrate astrology more with, yeah, actually third wave CBT methods, something called acceptance and commitment therapy, which comes from, like, Zen Buddhism and those things, much about acceptance, accept the placements, understand what it is, and then taking, like, a meta perspective, use your flexibility to open your mind instead of closing your mind when it comes to astrology. Hence, it's not deterministic, my method. And I really want to give, like, practical exercises of how you can work with your placements in daily life. For example, for myself, I am very deep inside. I look so calm and natural, but on my inside, I have a moon in Scorpio, and a moon in Scorpio is like there's no bottom to the emotions. That it can also come with self-destruction and those things, and I've been there in my life a lot, a lot. So I have worked with myself in daily life, for example, because ultimately, that depth is a form of intuition. I
mm,
go into a room, I can get overwhelmed from a lot of things, senses, people's emotions, and I think that is something wrong with me. I have thought that for so many years in my life, and thanks to astrology and these methods, I have managed to, like, understand, okay, I have a moon in Scorpio, I am very deep, I have very long, how do you say, like, tentacles out
mm,
all the time.
mm,
So this that comes in, it's actually a blessing. I just have to take a deep breath, ask myself, is this mine or is it not? And then I don't have to go and be self-destructive because I think I'm getting depressed again. No, maybe there's something else. I open my mind and I use my flexibility to go in my valued direction, which is
mm,
to develop my intuition.
mm.
So you see
Uh,
how I try to work with this in a practical sense, and that's what the
yeah,
book will cover.
I totally love the concept. I do think it's in line with accepting the consequences of your own living, and that is also bringing us closer to what the higher consciousness, the awareness, and 5D is all about when people are talking about it. Because as you said, when you are stepping into a room and you are getting hit by all this energy and emotions, and you do not know if it's my own. Why do I respond to things that I usually are not responding to? Why am I feeling this? Because I usually do not feel this, and that can start to work with your own mindset. You start to wonder, why am I reacting to this environment the way I do? And then you realize that you are being hit with energies that are not yours. And there is a responsibility there too for a lot of us to learn. Do not project out your energies because someone is picking it up and you are messing with their integrity. So before, and this is what I have been trying to say sometimes when people say, why aren't we living in the 5D? And I'm thinking, like, if you just reflect upon those words and imagine how it would be when the whole earth releasing the minds out in the ether in 5D, chaos.
Yeah,
Chaos.
yeah,
We need to learn how to hold our own space and to how not to project everything out there because we are emotional people,
yeah.
and we do respond to things that happen all around us. So yeah,
And
thanks for
that's
bringing
why I
it up.
say, like, for example, for you with the moon in Gemini, I mentioned a little bit like there can perhaps be like emotion, trying to understand emotions, and the backside with that can be like a little bit stress sometimes, like a lot of stress. And for some people, they can get like belly pains and those things because it's a lot of energy constantly processing information. But I say, if you're aware of these things, you can turn it into curiosity and creativity, and great, it can be a great asset.
Mm.
So I totally agree with you, and it's so important to become aware of these things, because I have to do that constantly these days also with myself, because I feel a lot of things in the collective now, the collective energies.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I felt so much sorrow come up in me. And I was like, wait, what is going on? Why am I sad? And then I had to ask myself, like, is this mine?
Yeah.
Because I feel so good now. So I was like, where is this coming from? And then I got the image of it's sorrow that is lifting from the females, the women. Sorrow for the women, because we are going more into the feminine energies and the power that comes with that creation,
Mm.
according to me. And there's a huge transformative process also, because the structures have been so male in a sense. And the energies, I mean, we all carry female and male energy, but it has been a lot about getting it, hunting for things, and I've been there myself. So I felt the sorrow lift from the feminine power, like, oh, why haven't we realized how we have hit our heads into the wall? It's so easy sometimes if we dare to just let go and receive. Like, I really felt that on a collective level, and I also felt the male energy on a collective level was filled with sorrow now, because the male energy was also saying to me that, but we have been trying so hard. We are trying also to do the right thing for the feminine energy to come and receive, but they didn't want to receive. How are we going to do this? There was like this. So I see the integration process on a collective level, but yeah, so much energy is going around.
Yeah, and there are a lot of collective energies about mother energy and
Yeah.
divine feminine, or whatever you want to call that. And the whole earth is rising up now, and earth is a mother pool. She is the feminine embodiment. So when she's rising up, of course there are merging a lot of things within us, ourselves, that needs and it's in proper time too. This is the time for this process, as everything is aligned in a div- divine guidance, so to speak. So, but yeah, a lot of issue is rising up in the collective just because we are struggling with the suppressed feelings rising up, letting go, and that is a whole process that we need to move forward forward through, not to.
Yeah. And that's also why I say, like, it's mirrors also in my work, as I say that I want to integrate intuition with the logic. And for me, that is also integrating the masculine, divine masculine with divine feminine, because as they come together, there's like oh, there's so much potential,
Yeah.
from my point of view. So I see this on so many levels, and I have so much hope and so much. Yeah, I look forward to the future. Even though I know that it's going to be difficult for a lot of people because I have struggled myself lately. But I still have the hope up, and I'm going to be optimistic about it.
Yeah, and I still want to address one more thing here, and it is about this feeling that is coming up. And you did mention that you wanted to move into other people's lives, to help them sort things out, and that is a huge topic that's still going on right now, I think, for a lot of us, and especially the ones that are a bit older, because we also have a cultural um, thing in being of service and helping others and reach out. And I can totally relate to that too, because when I'm getting aware about feelings that are coming to me, and I can, sort it out from whom is transmitting those feelings, I feel a urge, like you said, to, step in and guide and help. And it took a very long time for me to realize that it's not my call. It's not my duty to do that. I have a willingness to do it, but that doesn't mean that it's right for me to do. But I'm sure we'll be here when people are asking or addressing the issue to me and want me to be part of their solution, then I can offer my services in the way I can. But there is something there, and that is also in the old being of the feminine energy, that we want to, take care of other people, curling them, protect them, and not letting them grow in their own experience.
Yeah,
So it's so much going on in the esoteric world.
definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
in that also, what comes to mind when you say these things, it's also that I mean, we are in the era of informatics or whatever you
Mm.
call it, and as we are, many of us are, I mean, you have been into this spiritual and esoteric adventure, if you call it like that, for a long time, Eva. You have so much experience, and I have also experience from about like 11, 12 years now, from like developing my consciousness and everything. But there are people who are very new in that process now, and I have also had to take a step back because I see that there is so much out there now, and there are so many practices, and it's also a lot of capitalistic interests when it comes to spirituality. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of that, oh, buy this bag of crystals, this crystals is for stress relief, and this one is for this, and this one is for that. But sometimes I want to question that narrative, because I'm like, okay, it can be a way for people to step in, sure, but ultimately, for me, that is also a little bit a trap sometimes, because you buy again into a system outside of yourself. You buy into the capitalistic structure of to use this crystal for that motive, instead of asking yourself, what am I feeling? What crystal am I drawn to? And why do I get drawn to that? Go into yourself.
To
Do you
see it
do you
as a
also see
tool.
this process? As I mean, you have so much experience. Do you also relate to this?
Yeah, everything is tools to be used, and how we are using it and how we are perceiving the information is also a lesson to learn about it. So, yeah, I can totally relate to what you are saying, and by that, it's not that we are not, um, how should I say it? Say it. Of course, we need these shops, and we do need the possibilities to actually get tools, and you have to pay for the combined things that you want to have. If you want to have a book, etc., there's a lot of energy putting in there, and then material costs, etc., and that is not the issue here. The issue is that you are thinking that you are buying a crystal and you doesn't have to take responsibility for solving your own issues,
Yeah.
and that's the key. The
Yeah.
crystal is the tool, and you are buying it to help you to
Yeah.
take responsibility and move forward. And it's not like I'm buying this and miraculously everything is sold, and when it doesn't solve the way I want it to, I blame the stone and I blame the seller. So
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Or for example, if
balance.
you I mean, from an ethical point of view, also, like, that's why I say ethics is so important in this business or in this community, because I don't want to tell anybody what to do. For me, that is not ethically okay. Like, I don't want to say you should do this, or this is, yes, this is this, or I want to more say, like, this is what I see. How do you relate to that?
Mm.
Beyond all the expectations, like, go to the source there. um, because, as I say, there's an overload of information on Instagram, Facebook, social media, everywhere, about different practices that become a hype sometimes.
Mm.
And I feel, I have come to the point where I can see some practice online and I can get a feeling like, no, this is not for me. And I can ask myself, why do I can track it, why do I feel this when I watch this? But the society and capitalistic structures and everything that we are breaking down now have for many years wanted us to not question, because they want us to just buy into what they put in front of us.
Yeah.
So for me, it's so important to, like, talk about that as well.
Yeah. And yeah, I can't. I don't have anything more to say. You are putting it so elegantly out there. You're so right on, and that is the truth. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be
because
buying everything.
yeah, because, like, I don't know, Kundalini yoga might be for somebody, and that is
Oh,
their choice, but maybe it's not for me. Maybe I don't want that. And
mm,
that doesn't mean that I'm more or less spiritually
uh-huh.
woke or something. So that's like what I see, when we step back from the ego and everything, we can also allow ourselves to be more of what we want, and not what we are expected to be. Because there's nothing like you are more spiritual or less spiritual because you use crystals. I mean, I have a few crystals, but I don't work with them like that, and that is my choice.
Yeah.
So everybody to their own. I want acceptance and freedom for people to choose.
Yeah. And I totally love you. I
Yeah.
love your mindset.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
You're
I
such a
think you can
blessing.
see also that I have grown a lot and gotten out of my
Oh yeah.
blockages and the restrictions lately.
There's a whole new Frida here, and a
It
very
is.
interesting Frida. And
Thank you.
I want to know more about you in the future too. So, you are not getting rid of me. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to draw you back in here to do recaps from time to time, and see how you are processing in your own work. So,
Yeah.
I do understand that being a mother of toddlers and writing a book and having your own background as a psychologist, etc., you have a very limited time. So I guess that the last time we were talking, you had some mind projects about different courses to take, classes, and be. Are you keeping them alive, or have you made those into a reality that where people can actually take a course with you and to learn more, or is it a pause project because everything should be in time when it's meant to be too? So where are you?
I am working on that, actually, and that's what I want to bring up also, because when I talk about the stuff I do, it's often can sound to people as, oh, how can she do all these things? Like, this is crazy. And for me, I want to be so clear also to say that when I do things I love, when I'm in the creative flow, it's not difficult. I know that, like in my work before, when I was more in the logical sense, it can be so difficult to write like 3 words. But when I write creative things, like the book stuff and create courses, I many times connect myself now up to source or something like that, to myself or something, and I ask for guidance, and I see the images, and I write from images,
Mm-hmm.
so that is also something like I because I get those flashes a lot. Like I can stand in the kitchen and I always have a pen and a paper there, and I can see the images like, okay, the book's gonna look like this, it's gonna start like this or be like that, and then I write it down, and then I have also sessions where I sit down and I just let it flow, um, because that's also something I see for us moving into the 5D or activating the 5D lens or whatever, that it doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be joyous, it can be fun, it can be creative, and
Just trusting your guidance.
yeah, and the courses are coming. It's just that I have realized that, yes, I want to create courses where people can learn astrology. Yes,
Mm.
but that has to wait a little bit, because my first step will probably be that I will create a course for other astrologers, because it will draw on my experience as a therapist, my background. Because for me, it's so important I want to teach the method of intuitive therapeutic astrology, where astrologers that already have the theoretical knowledge of how to read a chart can just enhance their ability to deliver that information in a very ethical, therapeutic, and also intuitive way.
Mm.
Because that is what some astrologers are struggling with. And I want to be a fresh breeze there to develop and expand that.
Yeah, you're definitely a fresh breeze at this moment when we are speaking. So looking forward to what's coming up here. And yeah, you're so interesting. You
Thank
have
you so
a
much.
lot of things that you are actually putting to work, and I love the way that you are planning, and you're so disciplined. I'm
It sounds like that, but in reality, I am not at all. It sounds like that, but in reality, I am maybe, the more I play, the less I am structured, the better I perform.
yeah.
Uh, so that's what I go with now. Yeah, one for as an example, how I get my ideas. Also, since I felt my soul in that healing I did, it was like a very naturalistic sense from my soul that spoke to me. I go to nature with my dogs, and for example, I put my hands onto the ground, and I close my eyes, and I just like connect with Mother Nature. I get emotional when I talk about this. I connect with my hands, and I feel like I'm guided, I'm safe. I'm part of this. And it's so beautiful to be in that state, because that is also my sun sign in astrology, Taurus. I'm the earth spirit. So I connect with that, because the backside of Taurus could be materialistic pursuits, living very luxurious lifestyles, very much about how you look, how you dress.
Mm.
But I'm choosing to go with the more evolved expression of my astrology sign. Yeah. So I get guidance from Mother Earth. I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, me too. Mother Earth is Mother Earth, and she is protecting everybody who are seeking her guidance, and that is a relief to hear that you are feeling the connection. And I think you're going to enjoy the project I'm working on there, because I will go a bit deeper into the connection, how it works and how it connects us to the spiritual growth on Mother Earth. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
we
cannot wait to hear that. It sounds so amazing. And that's why I say also, when we meet, I mean, I am from another generation than you, and you have more experience. You have another kind of experience. And this is also part of what I say, like, the 5D or so, that we integrate and we really see that, wow, your perspective, my perspective, together it creates like, integration.
Yeah. And I
It's so
wouldn't I wouldn't say that I have more experience. I have, as you said, different experience.
different. Yeah, yeah,
And I'm learning so much from the new generation, the younger generation growing up, because you are coming into this world and with a totally different mindset, a totally different way to look at things. And I really need to follow up and review and reflect upon the knowledge that I have been taught, and that is a huge process for, I guess, my generation and those people who are older, because we have this dogmatic beliefs system still so strongly within us. So it's so, I just love, I think it's so interesting and fun to just have this conversation and to be able to open up for new ideas and how to look at the concept. No one holds the truth, so it's a learning
yeah,
process for everybody. So that is the beauty.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I see it too.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Frida, for being here. And I know that we just jumped into this, but as I said, for those who are curious about Frida, because she is a person that is very creative and raises a lot of question about who you are and where you come from and what you have been doing, please watch the first episode of the interview with Frida that we had the last time you were on. And we will do a recap, and the point with the recap is to start from now and not doing a recap, to do it again what we've been talking about earlier. So we are moving forward, both of us. So that, yeah, well, that was a sidetrack. And stopping right there. But thank you so much, Frida. Is there something you want to address, or do you feel like?
Um, no, it's just that if people want to connect with me, I have an Instagram called Esoteric_Adventures. That is my brand, Esoteric Adventures Astrology. And I also have a website called www.esotericadventures.com, which I will be updating also this spring. So if people want to connect with me, anybody, astrologers, mediums, people who are new to this, welcome. I am here to expand and empower people and work with my astrological adventure.
Yeah, and she is an astrologer. Oh God, I can't say the word. But you are an adventure. Let's go with that. You are an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are you, actually. You're also.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Frida, for being here, and looking forward to the next episode when you are telling us more about your book and how that is going. So
Yeah, thank you so much, Eva. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay,
Bye
bye.
bye.